Still with sport, and track and field's world governing body, the IAAF, have erased 7 years' worth of race results recorded for former sprint star and current drug cheat Marion Jones, and will soon decide on reallocating the 5 medals she won at the Sydney Olympics. Jones' admission last month to using performance-enhancing drugs in the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games shocked athletes all over the world, none more or less so than former Australian sprinter Misty Schreiber. I recorded this interview with her earlier today. And, you know, the idea in these things is to wear the same clothes so it looks continuous, you know, but someone crossed out grey suit and black skivvy on the wardrobe continuity sheet and wrote Mr. Mistopheles from the musical Cats instead, so I apologise in advance if this looks a little jarring. Misty Schreiber, how did you feel when you heard that Marion Jones had used performance-enhancing steroids at Sidders?
Disappointed, angry, relieved.
Interesting, interesting. 3 of the 7 stages of grief, although not in the correct order. And why relief?
Oh, just knowing that I'd competed against a drugged-up superwoman, that made it easy to accept missing out on the gold.
Sorry, the gold? Which event was that?
100 metres.
Yeah, although you didn't make it past the heats, did you? Heat 5?
That's right, heat 5.
Yeah, and you finished 8th, didn't you?
Well, now that the drug thing's come out, that gets me bumped up to 7th.
Yeah. But besides Jones, there were also 6 other runners who finished ahead of you in your heat. And of the event's 7 heats, you recorded the slowest time of any runner. So in a field of 48 athletes, you finished 48th.
47th, if you take out Marion. And who knows who else might come out with admissions of drug use in the next few years. I mean, I'm quietly confident that in the next 10, 15, even 20 years that I could get the gold.
But Misty, they couldn't all have been on drugs, could they?
Oh, well, how else do you explain me not winning, Sean?
Well, perhaps you're not very good.
Oh, no, I'm quite comfortable with showing everyone just how good I am.
Well, Misty Schreiber, is that a challenge?
I'd love them to restage the entire Sydney Olympics. I'm much faster than I was. Look how fast I can run.
Yeah, but Misty! Misty Schreiber there, not on drugs, apparently. What am I doing? He didn't like black people and never believed they had the ability to work cohesively with the white population. Actually, can we bring up the box now? Because otherwise people think I'm talking about Kevin Andrews. OK, thanks. He felt they couldn't and shouldn't run a country. Ian Smith, the former Prime Minister of Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, has died at the age of 88. He was an uncompromising believer in white minority rule, declared Rhodesia independent from Britain illegally in 1965.
I don't believe in black majority rule ever in Rhodesia, not in 1,000 years.
He was a pig-headed, arrogant, intransigent, indecisive, ineffective, short-sighted and racist Prime Minister who was succeeded by Robert Mugabe. He will be missed. Before we go to the break, the headlines so far. President Musharraf's Hawaiian Day more than makes up for being suspended from Commonwealth. Marcel Mousseau's skeleton dug up in drunken grave-robbing spree. And Russian President Vladimir Putin prepares for next month's parliamentary elections. Much more momentarily.
Next on Tyrants and Their Pets, Mao Zedong's ant farm.
Few, if any, knew that during the autumn harvest uprising in Changsha, that Mao had concealed on his person no less than 100,000 ants. To avoid suspicion, it is claimed, he disguised the ants as bees.
My mother told me Chairman Mao loved small insects from when he was a child. She heard this from a friend of her uncle's garage attendant's cousin. But his greatest passion, they say, was reserved for the ant, particularly the antenna. He liked it because the word ant appeared in the word. He thought that was ironic. My mother's friend's uncle's garage attendant's cousin told him it wasn't ironic, but he wouldn't listen. Maybe he should have put the ant antenna on. Then he could hear what was being told, you see. I should add, I never met him. My flesh goose pimples at the very thought of it.
Mao Zedong's ant farm. Next on Tyrants and Their Pets, 7:30 Thursday.